to the Septillionaires. I'm Joy Grace Harmony, here with our very first guest, Dr. Jeffrey McGee, and our wonderful host, Dr. Chelsea Hansen.
Hi, welcome back again. I'm just like perspiring here. Is this perspiring in Las Vegas, Doc?
It is a little bit. Yeah, when it's
how's the weather here?
triple digits on the outside of the studio. But you know what? It's beautiful weather in Las Vegas.
It is.
I've been here 5 years, and I've yet to experience a bad weather day.
Yes.
Thank
You know, so
Very true.
Okay, so on our break, we talk about that we gonna focus on solar on this segment, and before we gonna talk about solar, I just want you to
Tell us more about your book.
Tell us more about your book.
Lots of books. So we were talking about the Performance-Driven Selling Boot Camp program. And so, again, this is one of 23 books I've written, translated into 21 languages.
23.
23.
Translated 23 languages.
Isn't it amazing? 4 bestsellers, 4 graduate textbooks. So in the sales area, I've written a college textbook on selling, 2 books on selling, audios, videos, DVDs, an online 25-week sales training self-course. So this is the book that we were talking about. If you come to the boot camp, not only do you get the workbook for the 2 days we're going to walk through, we're going to build action plans for you for whatever it is you're trying to sell. We're going to build models around how to help you to move from where you are to septillionaire level of success.
Yes.
But this is another book that's unlike any other sales book, because what I realized as a sales practitioner myself, when I'm working as an employee, working on my own, having my company, just recently sold a training company with 144 employees, is that there's lots of books you can read from chapter 1 to the back of the book. But I wrote this book more situationally driven. So if I'm new to sales, you may want to start on page 1 and read to the back. But if you've been in sales a while, sometimes you might find yourself in a slump where you're not doing and dealing effectively with objections. So what chapter deals with objections? Go read that one. Or no is derailing you. You're not effectively dealing with people that give you no as a response. What chapters do we have for ideas on no's? Read that one. Or lead generation. So the book is written from really the practitioner standpoint as a successful salesperson. What are the things we do every day to be successful, and view the book really kind of as a toolkit.
Wow, and I think this is very
very
striking line, like find it, get it, keep it, and grow it.
And it is all about business. Exactly. How do you find it business? How do you keep that business? And then how do you grow that business? And that's what sales is all about. If you talk to any salesperson who's a veteran, which doesn't mean they have to have been in sales a long time. So this could be someone who's young. I mean, a Generation Z or millennial that gets this could be a lot more successful than a baby boomer or a centurion. And that is, if you have a great client relationship and you're truly taking care of them, they will advocate you all over the place. And now it's really about lead generation, and it's all about referrals. You're just dealing with referrals. You're never after and go out and make a cold call again. But if you ever find yourself having to make a cold call, a lot of techniques in here how to take the concept of cold calling and turn it into warm calls, because we do at the end of the day have to have new people into our sales pipeline to have fresh blood.
Okay, and with that is why I'm very passionate that we can bring our people in helping us promote our mother earth right now, because the $6 trillion industry is solar, and we know that we are going to go solar. And in fact, Nevada, Las Vegas specifically, is doing solar. And I have here the partner of my marketing team is called Get Solar Nevada. And hi to Albert Ramos, the CEO and founder. Albert, I hope you're watching, and also your our Chief Operations Manager, Ms. Bernadette. And of course, I know Ruel and Roxanne is in Get Solar Nevada office right now. We'll be there at 6 o'clock on our big event for our culminating recognition for the hard people going in the field for the last 30 days. We've started our marketing in this month only of May, and very timing that next month we have your 2 days boot camp and teaching strategies to our own distributors about solar. So okay, since we talk about solar, what can you say about solar, Doc, as far as solar renewable energy is concerned in the United States?
Again, energy is not my platform as a subject matter expert. Now, consuming and using energy, I think a lot of us can speak to.
Yes.
So I think, again, when you look at solar energy, it's like any business you're in. If you only have one distribution channel of how you sell your product, or if you only have one source of getting the raw materials you need to produce your product, you're always going to be limited in your abundance mentality thinking and your abundance ability to grow. So you have to have multiple streams of how you find the resources that come into you that you use to create whatever product you send out. And that's kind of the mindset I'd use to answer your question in terms of solar. So whether we're looking at fossil fuels, which is a legitimate option, whether we're looking at natural gas, legitimate option, we're looking at petroleum, or whether we're looking at wind, or we're looking at renewables, or we're looking at corn, or we're looking at solar here, all of those are just simply more options. And I think that, again, using Nevada as an example, because two of the largest solar farms in the Western Hemisphere are in this part of the country, of the United States of America, and are in our state, basically. So I think if you're in an area where you have tremendous energy captivation options from sun that goes to solar, then that should be something that all of us should consider, no matter where you live, in an urban or a rural area, in a developed country or an undeveloped country, because that's the source. And again, how do you capture clean rainwater and filterize that and use that, and then again even use your product to make it even more healthy and safe? Or whether it is wind, if you're in an area where there's tremendous wind, you need wind farms, and that wind turbines make sense. But again, reverse it. If I'm in an area where solar is a hard item to capture, this doesn't make sense. If I'm in an area where wind is a hard item to capture, it doesn't make sense. So we have to be responsible as well as consumers and as investors into our energy platforms. And so solar, though, I think is one that is something that can be drawn down all the way down to an end user. So a person who has a house, or is in an apartment building, or is in a rural area where you have multiple people living in one area, this becomes a very, very viable product. So I think solar, in terms of how you're involved and how we're involved here in this part of our country and in Nevada, is a brilliant tool. And anyone that's looking for additional streams of income, this is something to be considering. Someone who might be thinking, I'm in a position where I want to transition and do something that has more heart-earth connection and can generate income, that's a tool. So you put me on the spot, and that's how I'd answer the question.
So Dr. Chelsea, where can people come to learn more about Get Solar? When are the presentations?
Okay, Get Solar Nevada is a company out of hundreds of companies that are here in Las Vegas doing solar right now, as we have our office at the back of Gold Coast location, but we can tell you in details where it is. But what is important in our show is just explaining to them that solar today is a fortune. Now, if you think that you're gonna be left behind, then it's possible if you don't go solar. But if you go solar today, the advantages are, of course, we talk about financial advantage, and the financial advantage on the end user, and I agree to you that the bottom line is all about the homeowner. It's all about the end user, because the way I look at solar is as simple as this. Don't look at how much is the cost of the panels that we put on your roof, but look at that every month you pay solar to the energy. And what happened is a liability. Let's say $100 a month. You don't get that anymore, because once you pay $100, it's gone. But if your $100 you pay for the installation of your solar panel, Doc, every day you can see your solar panels on top of your roof. So it becomes an asset. So they have nothing to lose when it comes to the financial side of the end user. But more so, there are two major things very important since 2016, and since Nevada was on hold for 2 years, so we're left behind by 2 years in installing solar. So what happened is we have the tax rebate, which is 30% coming from the federal, and we have the Nevada energy rebate, which is 2.49. That means cash after 30 days of installation check will be delivered to your home, coming from the Nevada energy. So it's been wonderful. And also there is already a law in Nevada for the HOA. So there is no one that can stop a homeowner to get solar. So what we do is education, and that's why on the June 18 and 19, 2 days, we have 2 days training about our water, Septillion alkaline water concentrate, and as well as solar. But every week we're conducting certification or training about solar.
Beautiful. Again, become more educated as a technician on what these resources are, so that you can consume them, but also these resources, because you might want to be in a position so I can share them with my friends and family, people that are in my network, and help them to have a better way of life, and at the same time save them money, and you make some money at the same time. So it's a win-win-win all the way across the board.
Okay, Joy, how do you feel having Dr. Jeff on our first show? I'm so excited. I'm so happy, and thank you so much, Doc. Not just a one shake hand, but two
That's a double shake hand.
And stay tuned. We will be back on our last segment.